Everybody, my name is Stefan,
And I'm Kyle.
and this is Style Sports. Let's get into it. I will start off with power rankings. Yeah.
Alright, so I'll just be talking about the 12 playoff teams and where they're ranked. For example, who's the best looking playoff team and who's like the worst looking playoff team. So I'm going to start off from the bottom. And surprisingly, heading in at 12th is Detroit Lions heading in 9-7.
Really?
And the reason why they're coming in at 12 is because they're right now on a 3-game losing streak. I don't think they should be that low because they have the potential to beat teams. They have the potential to have a good playoff team.
I think the Houston Texans should be number 12. That's what I
Maybe.
think.
But then,
Because they have Brock Shitweiler, and they have nothing, and they've just it's basically.
but they have the number one defense, so.
I know, but if you can't have any offense, then it's really gonna go nowhere. I just think
But
they're gonna
at
be.
least they can rely on their defense. So
I
even
know.
if their offense plays bad,
I don't
so,
think they belong there though.
yeah, I
I
think
they should be
probably
number two.
last,
I think
in my opinion,
say
should be the Miami Dolphins.
I put them as 11 for.
Because I think Miami Dolphins are coming in with a backup quarterback. At least Brock Osweiler he's a starter. He knows the offense. I feel like Matt Moore, I don't think he's gonna. Plus, he's playing a really tough team. I don't think Matt Moore can survive against the Steelers.
Probably not.
So coming in at 11th are the Houston Texans. And the really reason why, as Stefan just mentioned, they don't have a quality quarterback. You know, they have the good defense, still the best defense in the league, but I don't think that. Unless their defense can stop the Raiders from putting up points, which maybe they can with a depleted offense, but can the Texans score? And that's been a big question. You know, they can stop the teams on defense, but they just struggled on offense this year.
See,
It's coming
defense is the best offense, but literally have no offense.
Offense
Is
and
it really?
coming in 10th are the 10-6 Miami Dolphins.
Really? Okay, hold on. I just want to say something about this. I know you're a bit of a Raiders fan, but I'm gonna put the Raiders at number 10. And I know you're gonna call me crazy, but
No, I'm not calling you crazy.
I think that after they got murdered in Denver, 24-6, and they lost their best guy, Derek Carr, I feel like they're not going far at all. It's unfortunate because after years of trying, they finally make it, and then their best player gets hurt, and they can't win a game. Like it's only been one game, but I don't think their rookie who's never played a game is gonna win. I think they're gonna be out first round, unfortunately.
The reason why they're ranked above Miami, they have a better defense than Miami.
But I feel like Miami actually has an offense. They have Matt
But then
Moore.
Miami doesn't have. They also have a backup quarterback.
They have Jay Ajayi and
Yeah.
Ajayi, whatever his name. And Matt
And
Moore isn't that
who's
bad.
their receiver?
They have
Yeah, Matt Moore had
Jarvis
one
Landry.
good game against the New York Jets, and
Had
they're
Jarvis Landry.
yeah. And the Raiders have DeAndre Washington. They have Amari Cooper. And
I
yeah,
know,
Connor
and
Cook is not.
Crabtree.
Connor Cook was the best quarterback in his conference in college.
Yeah, but
He's
so
not
was
bad.
Mark Sanchez. And how did that turn out?
Yeah, I'm saying that's different.
But it
Mark
did.
Sanchez has played forever.
No, I know,
Connor
but
Cook
in
is
his
just
rookie
starting out,
year,
like-
he was shit too.
No, Mark Sanchez wasn't bad in his rookie
He
year.
was bad. In his,
No, Mark Sanchez just started to come back. He started falling off.
I hate shit anyway. Anyway, so who's your number 9? Or
Well,
unless
number
you're
9
different.
is the Oakland Raiders.
I have the Lions.
Well, just read because like they're only missing one player. They have the second best offensive line in the league. So Connor Cook just has to focus about making throws. He has the number one defense, but if his offensive line, they've managed to stop the Denver Broncos. So all they have to do, he has the safety of, being protected in the pocket, and they have not amazing running backs. They have 3 good running backs who can show up. So I feel like if they ground and pound, eventually the Texans have to break. And so it's not like the season it's done most likely because they're probably gonna go after this round. They probably
be
will
one
get
and done.
eliminated. No, 1 and done means they lose their first game.
Yeah.
But they have potential. They have better because they also have like a top 10 run defense. So it's gonna be and plus not saying that
That's going to be
Texans
the
have a good
worst
run
game. That's going to be literally the worst game.
It's gonna be a fun game because both teams are coming in with a
Both
depleted
teams are
offense.
shit. I don't know. No,
Coming in at 8th
Raiders
are
are
the
good.
Seattle Seahawks. And the reason why they're coming, I mean, they haven't really been a consistent team all year. And they're coming off they lost to Arizona. I guess it didn't really matter because they already locked on division. And a nail biter in San Francisco, which is an amazing game. Finishing at 7th, which
Oh,
I
hold on, wait,
think
wait.
is
Can I challenge that
unreasonable.
for a second? I put the Giants at number 8.
And the Giants are number 7. The reason why I'm not saying the Giants are number 7, because out of all the playoff teams, I think them, Steelers, and Packers are the most dangerous. In fact, in the playoffs, Eli Manning is a completely different quarterback.
Same with Russell Wilson. That's why I have him at number.
But I feel that because the Giants, I'm thinking about the Giants, their defense is just playing out of their skin right
Yeah,
now.
and if
I
Odell
feel
has
like
a monster game, he's
exactly.
gone. But then again, Eli Manning has just started to get decent. Like he was having a really pretty bad year, honestly.
He had a decent year. He's had an Eli Manning
I
year.
said yeah. He was having a bad year, and they started to pick it up a little bit, right? But I feel like Giants are number 8, and then I feel like Atlanta Falcons.
No.
What do you have at Atlanta?
Atlanta Falcons is definitely like number 4, number 5.
Bruh. I have them at 7, and then I have Chiefs at.
So, number 6,
Sorry,
which
Chiefs
I
at 6.
also believe that they shouldn't be, are the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers are heading into the playoffs with the most dangerous offense, the most dangerous quarterback, and they're coming off a 6-game winning streak. I feel like lots of defense. I mean, in the last 6 games, the Packers came up against one good defense. Well, they came against good defenses, but like one phenomenal defense, and they still blew out the Vikings. So I feel like heading in, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, it's impossible to stop him because I mean, he's
So
an
far, yeah.
exceptional pocket passer. He's good on the run. So I feel like, but I mean, they are facing a really good Giants defense. So if they have one guy rushing, one guy that stays back, they can really counteract Aaron Rodgers. But I feel like they have the best defense in the best offense in the last 5 games. So it's gonna be a good offense versus defense game.
What number is Green Bay for you? What number?
I think Green Bay should be number like 5.
For me, I have Seattle Seahawks at 5 and Green Bay at 4. Reason why I
Okay.
have Seahawks at 5, like I mean they're super inconsistent. Like some games they lose to like Tampa Bay, and some games they just crush teams. Like they even beat the Patriots, right? Some days they're really good, some games are really bad, and I don't understand. But I think the reason why I put them at number 5 is because Russell Wilson, um, he works amazing under pressure normally, unless he throws 5 interceptions. But normally he's really good, and I feel like I would put my trust in him. That's why he's number 5 for me. And for number 4, like Kyle said, with the Green Bay, they're insane. Um, they have a flawed defense, but like said, Rodgers, he's amazing. He's got amazing numbers, a lot of touchdowns, and his passes are just so perfect. It's hard to beat him, and rough. Who do you have for
All
number
right.
3?
Now my number 5, I have the
Oh
Falcons,
shit, yeah.
just because I feel like they have like questionably they have the best quarterback of the year on their roster. They have the most probably the one of the most dangerous probably top 2 most dangerous wide receiver who can turn up in any game.
Or do nothing.
Yeah, he could do nothing, but I feel like I'm thinking about Matt Ryan. Matt
He's
Ryan
a 50.
set an
You know he's a
NFL
coin
record.
flip, though. You know he's a coin flip.
Yeah, but I'm saying thing about Matt Ryan is that he has 13 different receiving. He has 13 touchdowns to different receivers. He has more than 13 touchdowns, but like he's thrown to 13 different targets this season. I'm saying even if Julio Jones is having a bad day, Taylor Gabriel and Mohamed Sanu can turn up for them. They have a good 1-2 punch with Tevin Coleman and Devonta Freeman. So they're really good in the offense. And again, another top 10 offensive team. At number 4, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. And I say this because I know in the second half of the season they really found out their superpower, which was Tyreek Hill. And he's like an Odell guy. Give him the ball in the first 5 yards and he can do the damage with his
Tyreek
legs.
Hill is a return monster.
Yeah, exactly. And he's good in the special games. I feel like, but now that every team has seen this, lots of coaches are gonna be telling the guy,
Yeah.
Punters punt the ball to bounce. Kickers try to kick it as far as you can to the deep of the end zone.
But that's definitely what they're gonna
Exactly.
make him basically use on special.
But
But
by saying, like, if a punter makes a mistake and he gets ball, they could cost him game. And
yeah,
think he's a dual threat. He's an exceptional wide receiver with his speed, and
so
he has good
fast.
hands.
Yeah.
And he's also he's not a good running back, but he can also rush because he's elusive. He has agile and he has good ball carrying vision.
Pretty strong too, I would say.
And number 3, I have the Dallas Cowboys.
I have Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, and the reason why I have Dallas is because, I mean, they have the best offensive rookies this year. Dak is just settling like a stew pea soup into this offense, and then Zeke is just like the stew in the soup. I mean, it just works. It's
What is this analogy? Are you hungry? Is that?
But the thing about the Dallas Cowboys is that whoever they face, most likely they're gonna. All right, I'm not gonna talk about it yet, but I'm saying whoever they face in the second round has potential to beat them. I'm gonna talk about that later, but I'm saying right now that's why I have Dallas at 3rd because they're dangerous. They're a really good team, but they're also a team that has potential to go one and done.
See, I have Dallas at number 2, right? The reason why I have them at 2 is because obviously you have Zeke, right? A monster. Dak Prescott, he's been good. The whole team has been good, right? Obviously, last game was a throwaway. They were trying to get everybody to touch the ball just in case, right? If Romo was in the center, I would be more confident. Because I feel like Dak Prescott, he's a rookie. He's pretty good under pressure, but I feel like you're going to put him in the middle of a playoff game and he might break down. You never know, right? If he comes out with a really good faces a really good defense, he doesn't know what to do because he's like, new, right? First year, he's new. I feel like if Romo came in, that would be completely different. But I put them at number 2 because I feel like they could get something done. But if they do get stumped, they're over. Because he's a rookie and he could break down under pressure. So I mean, it's a mix between 2 and 3. And I put the Steelers at 3 because they're guaranteed to make the AFC Championship. That's in my opinion, anyways. They're definitely going to be, whatever. Their offense, they have a good offense. They have Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, right? They have all-stars. I just don't feel like they're going to be able to beat, obviously, my number 1 pick at New England Patriots. Go ahead. You could say your number 2 and 1.
So my number 2 are the New England Patriots because
God.
the reason why I'm saying this is that, all right, they're heading in. They have probably the best playoff QB at their hands. But the thing about Tom Brady is that Tom Brady in the AFC game, in the AFC Championship, he's never played particularly well. If you look at all of his AFC Championship losses, all of his AFC Championship victories, right now he's 22-9 in the playoffs.
And he's never lost in Foxborough, by the way.
You're right, he's never lost, but he's never had he's had 1 or 2 exceptional games. But in Foxborough, in the AFC Championship game, Tom Brady's never had a good game. And the way it's looking to settle out the AFC Championship game is most likely going to be the Steelers versus the Patriots. The Patriots their defense is good in terms of they've let up the least amount of points. But if you look at the teams they faced, they never faced any exceptional teams that would put up lots of points. They never faced the high-flying Falcons and the high-flying Packers that could drop up to 40 points, up to 30 points.
They dropped those points because the other defenses were bad. What do you?
No, I'm talking about their defense.
Oh.
Their defense was only good. The only good
I'm just saying, the Packers didn't drop 40 points on a good defense. Falcons didn't drop 40 plus points on a good defense.
But they had the potential to drop 40 points. The Patriots never faced an offense that could drop 40 points on them. And as I'm saying, they didn't play any challenging matchups. So I'm saying heading into the playoffs,
Patriots are definitely number 1, man. There's no way you could put them at number 2. I think they're definitely gonna win it all. Because obviously I'm a Patriot fan, but it's not. I'm trying not to be biased, but think about it, right? They're just so good. Like Tom Brady, they have the best record in the league. Right? They've only lost twice. One game when Tom Brady was not there. That's not an excuse. I'm just saying. And then they lost by 2 points to the Seahawks.
Yeah, but look at the team that they faced. They didn't face any phenomenal teams. They didn't face any team that could really beat them. They had probably, out of all the teams that made the
They
playoffs,
played the Steelers.
they did beat the Steelers
They played the Bengals when they were
with
good.
no Big Ben,
They
with no
beat
Big Ben.
They beat the Seahawks. Sorry, they
They
lost the
didn't
Seahawks.
beat. All right then.
They beat the Broncos. Beat the
Okay,
Dolphins, who are
they
in the
beat the
playoffs.
Broncos, who don't have an offense.
That was a long time ago. And then they got the. They do have an offense. They have some problems with them.
No, they don't have a good quarterback, so he played not good at
Trevor
all this
Siemian
season.
is not that bad.
I didn't say he's bad, but he hasn't played a good game.
And
Like, no, he
also,
played a good game, but he's not a good
Patriots beat the
quarterback.
Dolphins 35-14. I don't know how you call that
Wow.
as an.
To a backup quarterback.
Doesn't matter. This
It does
quarterback
matter.
that led
I'm saying
them
they haven't faced
helped
a
them.
Matt Ryan, they haven't faced an Aaron Rodgers.
because
So I'm saying
they're not going
good-
to.
If they make the finals, they have to face one. They have to face a good quarterback. If most likely the way that we're setting it out, it's gonna be a Steelers versus Patriots championship game.
And
The Steelers are
Patriots
gonna
will
have
win.
to face. They're gonna have to face the most dangerous running back right now, the most dangerous wide receiver, and Big Ben healthy.
Not
Can
that
their
bad.
defense? I mean, it's gonna
Yes,
be a
they
test.
can.
Can their defense really hold up?
Easily.
It's a
They
lot of
will be
question
able to.
marks.
Obviously, everything's a question mark. It's how good is the Steelers defense? Will they be able to stop
But
Edelman?
The Steelers doesn't have a. But the Steelers aren't coming in with a defense.
No, you said there were a bunch of questions, and I'm asking questions. Will the Steelers be able to stop LeGarrette Blount? Will they be able to stop Edelman? Will they be able to even stop Tom Brady? Will the O-line play amazing? Jabal Sheard do amazing? Well, how will the D-line react? There's a
But
bunch
Jabal
of
Sheard
questions.
has not played good this year.
I know, but I said, what if he does? There's always these questions. What's his name? Le'Veon Bell. He had a 300-yard game, something like that, right? From all-purpose yards. And then one game he got shut out completely. So you could obviously argue and say, oh well, based on those, the trend, yeah. But what if? You brought up to me what if? So I'm gonna return the favor and say what if? Gronkowski isn't there. He was a threat. So now we have Martellus Bennett, right? He's not as much as a threat, but he's there. He's a good blocking tight end.
He's inconsistent.
I know he's very inconsistent with yards, but because sometimes they don't pass the tight ends, right? There's one guy who his first career start and his first career pass was a touchdown. Nobody's ever heard of him. Comes in, gets it, and then he's gone. Never seen him again. Who is this guy? Nobody knows. You don't know what the Patriots do. They have like a.
And that's the problem. There's too much question mark. When you look at the Steelers are coming in on paper. They know they're not coming in here.
That's the problem.
Then the thing, the Steelers are coming
They
in
know
here.
what they're gonna do.
Mike Tomlin knows that they know their defense is not phenomenal. They know that the only way they can beat the Patriots is Big Ben is gonna have to go toe for toe with Tom Brady, and he's shown that he can do it this season. He's shown he can do it his entire career.
And so has
It's
Tom
not that
Brady.
hard.
Tom Brady.
He has the weapons.
So does Tom Brady.
But I'm not saying there's anything. I'm not questioning the
but that's
Patriots'
what I'm saying.
offense.
I
I'm
feel-
questioning their defense cannot shut down phenomenal quarterbacks. I mean, I don't know. Let me say, I don't know if they can because they haven't faced any phenomenal quarterbacks this year.
Their defense, think about it. Steelers, right? They like you said, they played them with a depleted.
They didn't have Big Ben.
Yeah, there you go. They didn't have Big Ben.
Or Big Ben
right?
was injured. I'm not
Yeah,
sure, but
he
one of
was
the two,
injured.
Big
He hurt
Ben.
himself. The score was 27-16, right? So let's not look at the 16, right? Because that's your right. So not really excuse, just a fact, whatever, right? But they still scored 27 points. How does that? Like, I know you said Big Ben's not there, but how does that equivalent? Patriots still scored 27 points.
And I'm not saying that. I already said.
I know, but that's why I'm just saying they should do
what's
better.
it called? Doesn't have a good. They have a number 6 run defense and a number 14 pass
Garrett
defense.
Blount had
I'm not saying
130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tom Brady
yeah,
had
because they knew
222 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Bill Belichick knew to attack them. But now the Steelers have let up. How much yards did LeGarrette Blount get?
130.
Or how much?
Oh, you mean season?
No, how much like in that game against
Yeah,
the Steelers?
130.
All right, and they let
And
up
2
200
touchdowns.
plus to Jayayaji. Mike Tomlin knows that. Yeah, we have to reassure our run game. So rethink heading into the Dolphin matchup. Their number one focus is making sure they can shut down Jayayaji so he doesn't put up another 200-point game. They're gonna look back at the previous Patriot game. And look, all right, look, LeGarrette Blount ran all over us, so we're gonna tighten up our linebackers.
But they
tighten
also
up our defensive
passed
ends.
all over them too. They threw 5 touchdowns.
Who threw 5 touchdowns?
They didn't throw, but there were 5 touchdowns. 2
In what game?
2 what do you in
The Patriots didn't get 5 touchdowns.
They did.
If it 27-16,
There's 2 touchdowns. One by Gronk, one by Brady, and 2 by LeGarrette Blount.
that's 4.
Or no, it says there's 5 here.
No, there's 5 would be 35 points. They only scored 4
Oh, you're
touchdowns.
right, sorry. I got confused. No, yeah, sorry. They scored 4 touchdowns. Doesn't matter. That's still 4 touchdowns against, a really good team. Doesn't matter. They had all their guys still on defense. They had nobody hurt. The only guys. I just think.
I'm not talking about the Steelers defense. That's what I'm saying. I said the Steelers defense are not phenomenal. I'm talking about the Patriots defense.
And
They're
they're
a
gonna
questionable
be
team.
exposed.
Huh?
I feel like Patriots defense have been playing exceptional.
Against bad teams, against like the Browns, against
Doesn't
Dolphins,
matter. They're
Jets.
still playing.
Anybody can play good against the Jets and the Bills and the Dolphins.
Not true. not
A
apparently.
Dolphin team with Matt Moore.
Still defense, man. Doesn't matter. No matter
Man,
who you're playing.
they
If you
haven't played any
return a
exceptional
fumble
teams.
for 69 yards, a forced fumble, it doesn't matter who you have. If you get the ball and run it 69 yards, you get a touchdown. By the way, longest career. That's what I feel. I feel Patriots will win the Super Bowl and they will beat. That's what I think. But so that was your top 10. So I guess,
Yeah, and my number 1, as I already argued, was the Steelers, just for the fact that they have the hottest, like second hottest offense, and they have, what was it? I totally forgot what I was gonna say. And they're coming off a 7-game winning streak right now, and then most likely they're gonna turn on to 8 when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, 9 when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And Big Ben has already walked into Foxborough and beat Tom Brady, so it's not like he's never done it before.
I didn't say he never. I'm saying in playoffs. But, anyways, let's get into the playoff bracket, which is kind of what happened already. So go ahead and start.
Alright, so I'm talking about the NFC playoff bracket. So the matchup that's going to be this Saturday night at 8:30 is going to be the Seahawks versus the Lions. The Seahawks are coming as a 3rd-seeded team, winning their division, and the Lions are coming in the 6th seed. And the reason I'm definitely backing the Seahawks just because they have a great defense, they're better. And the reason why the Lions have lost 3 straight. I mean, I know they faced 3 good teams, but it still lowers your confidence, lowers your morale. And I just feel like their offensive targets, they have Zach Zenner. He's only played good in his last couple games. Their wide receivers, Golden Tate's good. Marvin Jones, he's good, but are they going to show up for the game? Are they going to be the right target for Matthew Stafford? And that's a problem I have with the Lions.
I have also a problem. It shows that when they play good teams, they crumble. Like you said, the last 3 games, good teams. And they've lost. So it's kind of like, hey, yeah, we're good. We have like I talked about in a few weeks prior, how what's it called? You can't just keep coming back in the 4th quarter and hoping to win, right? It obviously stopped working for them, and now they're kind of being exposed as their true colors. They're lucky that they made it into the playoffs. They were close to not making it. And I feel like the Seahawks will definitely. If you don't look at record, the Seahawks are 10-5-1, and the Lions are 9-7. But if you don't look at the record, I definitely. Because if you look at the record, they look closer, right? But I feel like the Seahawks are definitely gonna win, and then go on to Dallas. So.
No, they don't. They don't for sure go to Dallas.
Okay, well, yeah, but presuming.
In fact, they don't go to Dallas. If the Seahawks win, they automatically face the Falcons. But I'll talk about that next. So the other wildcard matchup, the bigger one, which is the 4:30 game on Sunday, is the Packers versus the Giants. In my opinion, this is the best playoff game to watch.
Yeah, it's the only one to watch.
You have number 1 offense heading into the playoffs, number 1 defense heading into the playoffs. And I just feel like, and the thing about Eli Manning hasn't been in the playoffs since 2011. But the last 2 times he's been to the playoffs, he went on runs. And that's what I mean. Eli Manning, a lot of people say, yeah, how can a player turn up for the playoffs? But somehow, he's like LeBron James. LeBron James just turns into a beast in the playoffs. And I feel like Eli Manning, he's already been playing good, like you mentioned earlier, heading into the closing of the season. If he can get the ball into his weapons, into his Odell Beckhams, if their defense can stay assured, they can win. But the flip side of the ball, let's look at the Packers. The Packers have closed out.
Amazing offense.
Exactly. They've closed the last 6 games. Best offense. No?
Hmm.
All right, then. And I feel like their defense has really stepped it up. They've averaged about 21 games in their 6-game winning streak at the end. And, I mean, if they can manage, and the thing about Eli Manning turns the ball over a lot.
A lot.
So if
Yeah.
they can get Eli Manning back to his regular season form, allow him to turn over the ball, the Packers can win the game. And the Packers, and I believe, they don't have to worry about turning over the ball. They have a quarterback who threw 40 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Turnovers at the quarterback position, I don't believe is a big issue.
For Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly. I don't think it's a big issue. But I think if
he's a very smart player.
Exactly.
He knows the game more than everybody, honestly. Well, most people, and he doesn't just throw away the ball like Eli Manning. So I feel like if Eli Manning, if they force him to throw, which he does, not a very smart. Like in the last few games, he's been doing decent, but not a very smart thrower. He just kind of chucks it. But I feel like definitely Green Bay will come out of that win.
Yes, I'm back in the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and then
the thing, and about the this is why I mentioned earlier about the Cowboys, why I ranked them number 3. That the Packers. I mean, so we're definitely saying the Seahawks are going to go into Detroit, and no, I mean they're going to stay at home. They're going to beat Detroit.
The Seahawks are also undefeated in their Seattle.
Not of all time.
No, but like in the past few years.
Mm-hmm. But in effect, the Cowboys, they beat the Packers, yeah, but they beat a Packers team that wasn't on fire. They haven't beat the Giants this season. So I feel like the Cowboys, this is why I mean they can be one and done. If Green Bay comes off, they beat Giants that 7-game winning streak. They go into Jerry World. And like you said before, this is going to be a real test for Dak Prescott. Can he prove his worth? Was he just a regular season guy? Just a 13-3 rookie
who's gonna crack under pressure and make mistakes easily because he's getting pressured by a good defense, arguably good defense. And I feel like I don't know, it's gonna be an interesting game. But if they play how they played in the season, they're basically unstoppable.
Yeah, I feel like for this matchup, I'm backing the Packers against Cowboys. That would be the divisional round. Who do you have?
I also say Packers.
And then for the other match against Falcons Seahawks, I'm saying the Falcons.
Yeah,
and
I'll say Falcons too.
The reason why I'm saying the Falcons is that in their matchup earlier in the season, they lost on a questionable call, which was a pass interference on Richard Sherman against Julio Jones at the end of the game, and that would have allowed them another play, which could have gotten them a touchdown. They lost by
you
one possession game.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? I mean,
no, I think they lost by 2 points, and they were in field goal position. So,
yeah, but still,
I understand it's a field goal is not given, but they did have the second best kicker in terms of field goals on their roster.
If you just pretend that pass interference, let's call it hypothetically a tie, right? I know it wasn't a tie, but one field goal, it has to do with the kickers. Right? I just feel like
and they have one of the best kickers.
I know they do, but I feel like it should just be considered even strength, right? That's why I personally believe. I mean, let's call it a 3-point game. I know it's a 2. Just hypothetically call it a field goal, right? I don't think it would have mattered that much. I just think they're both really good teams. Falcons will off onto Freeman, so.
It's not it's that they have the offense. Even if Julio Jones doesn't show up, they have other receiving cores.
But if they have a bad game, if Matt Ryan has a bad game, which hasn't had a very bad game, but it could always happen. The playoffs are completely different. Like LeBron's good in regular season, monster in playoffs, right? Some people have their own setting.
And then for the NFC conference game, which we both have the Packers versus the Falcons. For this game, I'm gonna have to back
Falcons.
The Green Bay Packers.
Really?
Yeah, and the reason why is that in terms of offense, they're really close matchup. I feel like Atlanta has an edge on the offense because they have the running game. Their running game is much more stable than the Packers' running game. But if you look at the flip side, exactly. So you look at the flip side, look at their defenses. The Packers do have the advantage. The Falcons, I think, out of all the 12 playoff teams, the Falcons, the Lions, and the Raiders have the worst defenses. So in fact, the Falcons, I don't think the Falcons will be able to shut down Aaron Rodgers, and that means Aaron Rodgers will have his second Super Bowl. So that's what I'm predicting.
I'm predicting the opposite. I am predicting that the Falcons do win. Julio Jones does go off, and so does Matt Ryan. Because if Matt Ryan's in his zone, Matty Ice, he doesn't miss, man. And if you get a bunch of touchdowns on the board, then that means like Aaron Rodgers, you can't take it away from him. He is a monster. He is definitely a Hall of Famer. Aaron Rodgers, you can't beat him. Like he's amazing. But I feel like it's gonna be a matter of defenses, and I feel like somehow Falcons are gonna pull up for a stop. I guarantee it's gonna be a close game though. I guarantee that.
Yeah, it's gonna
I
be a
guarantee
fun game to watch. Battle
very
of the
fun and
offenses.
very close. Dallas versus Seahawks. Who do you take?
Dallas versus Seahawks.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, yeah.
That's it. And so I'm saying the Packers go Super Bowl. You're saying the Falcons go Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right, so you can talk about the AFC playoff bracket.
All right. So we have the 11-5 Steelers versus the 10-6 Dolphins, and then the 9-7 Texans versus the 12-4 Raiders. Let's start with the Texans versus the Raiders. Like I said before, Derek Carr got hurt, and they lost their game to the Denver Broncos very badly. Not very badly, but it was pretty disheartening after a really good year. And they're playing the 9-7 Texans, who were lucky to get in the playoffs because they have a shit division. I think the Raiders will lose. It doesn't matter. Any of those two teams are gonna lose. They're going out. I mean, they're not getting past the second round. But whatever. That's besides the point. I hope the Raiders lose because Derek Carr is an actual threat. And the Texans do not have a threat except for their defense maybe, but they don't have DeAndre Hopkins, but he hasn't really been targeted. But I feel like the Texans will win. It'll be a probably very close game, but it'll be a shit game. And the Steelers versus the Dolphins. I'm obviously gonna predict the Steelers win because they have Matt Moore. And Matt Moore's not going to really do anything. I mean, he's a good relatively good quarterback, but he's not going to compare to Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown. So that means it will be the Patriots versus the Steelers.
No, Patriots versus Texans.
Oh, because they have the lowest seed, my bad. So yeah, Patriots versus the Texans. No, Steelers have the lowest seed.
Nope.
Yeah, Steelers are seed 3.
Texans are 4th seeded.
Yeah, Steelers are 3.
Yeah, so Texans face the Patriots.
Isn't it the lowest seed?
Exactly. The Texans are 4th.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Patriots will play the Texans. Patriots will make it. Then it'll be Steelers versus Kansas City. Now, this is a game that I have to ask you for. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win? Kansas City versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is going to be one of the greatest games to watch.
I'm just saying the simple fact is that Big Ben, if you look at both quarterbacks, Alex Smith has never been particularly well in the playoffs. Big Ben, he's been Super Bowl, he's played in the biggest games. Big Ben is heading in with a better offense, and they're they're in terms of defensive wise, they're pretty similar teams. And I just feel like in terms of what the Kansas City Chiefs, their type of team, they need luck to win. And the reason why I'm saying this is that in their game against the Falcons, they needed a pick six and a 2-point. I'm not saying it's lucky, but I'm saying they need the other team to do bad in order for them to do good.
They capitalize
on
the other team's failure.
Exactly. So I'm saying the only way I see Kansas City winning is if Kansas City, unless the Steelers make big mistakes and the Kansas City team can make all
it's like,
big
for
plays.
instance, kicking, giving the ball to Tyreek Hill on kick returns and punt returns.
Exactly.
Like, I remember the first play of Kansas City versus the Texans. They got a kick return last year, Kansas City, and that wasn't even with Tyreek Hill. So if they capitalize on that just to start the game again, you gotta watch out for their special teams and a little bit of their offense. But I definitely feel like the Steelers will, and they'll go on to play the Patriots, and then the Patriots versus Falcons final. And the Patriots. That's my prediction. Patriots are mine. Who's your prediction?
So I'm going back to the wild card. I'm just gonna say that I think the Raiders are gonna win, and I'm simple fact. First of all, I'm gonna be biased because I do support the Raiders. But the second reason why is that they did lose their best quarterback, but their backups, and I'm gonna go back to simplify that Brock Osweiler is a terrible quarterback. And then I don't believe that in terms of their offense has never clicked in the 16 games of the season. The Raiders' offense at the end of the game against the game that he got, end of the game against the Colts when Matt McGloin to come in. Matt McGloin started clicking with the receivers. I understand Matt McGloin's not going to be starting,
Yeah, so
but at the same time, Connor Cook is going to get the reps, of course. But I'm saying if Connor Cook goes down, Matt McGloin is right back in. So Connor Cook is also heading. I'm not saying he's a good quarterback.
his first career start.
Yeah, his first career start, but he's also coming off. But he's a rookie,
There's
and he's
massive
also
pressure for him. I don't expect him to feel well.
big.
I feel like he's gonna collapse under pressure. It's like
But the thing,
Dak Prescott, but worse because it's your first start.
yeah, exactly. But his first start, but he already got game experience. I feel like this first start is not a big deal. If you already got on the field, you played some reps. It's not the pressure is really gone. It's gonna be pressure, of course. It's a playoff game, but like the big pressure is gone. And I just feel like the Texans defense, they're not gonna. I mean, if Brock Osweiler, I mean, they can't do anything against the run defense because the Raiders do have phenomenal rushers and phenomenal linebackers. So the only way they can do it is if they pass the ball. And I think if Brock Osweiler can pass the ball, then maybe they have a chance. But the Raiders are only. I understand they're only. But Connor Cook has played in big bowl games. He's one of the best quarterbacks in Michigan State history. So it's not like he's coming in with no experience. He's a good quarterback.
Fair enough, but I think even if let's say hypothetically they do beat the Texans, they're gonna lose. They're not going anywhere. They're going second round, second last round at most. That's it. They're getting
Yeah.
if they win the wild card, they're out. That's my prediction. They're not going anywhere. But I mean, I want to give them the win. Fine. But who do you predict? Who do you? Okay, what's your Super Bowl prediction? Who versus who and who wins?
I'm saying Steelers versus the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers gets his second ring and
Right.
solidifies himself as one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history.
We'll find out, won't we?
hmm
So the games find out. So let's talk about since the season ended. Let's talk about who is the leader in defensive and offensive in their respective categories. So why don't you go first and do defensive leaders?
All right. So I'm going to talk about So for interceptions this year, it was a castaway. So Casey Hayward last season was playing on the Green Bay Packers. In free agency, he was picked up by the San Diego Chargers, and I really think that he really showed his worth this year. Managed to grab 7 interceptions, and he helped ice the game for them. And in terms of like a defensive back, he's really. I mean, they lost Eric Weddle, which is probably their biggest defensive back last season, their best defensive back, and I feel now Casey Hayward's really stepping into that spot, and he's going to be able to build well, with him and Jason Verrett on the other side. So I feel like, there's good hope. And I feel like, so he is the interception leader this season. He was one in front of some other defensive backs.
Bunch of people, 3 people. Marcus Peters, Quentin Dempson, DRC from New York Giants.
So this year, the sack king has been overthrown. So Von Miller finished with second, 13.5. But the big man this year was Vic Beasley Jr., the linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons. And thing about Vic Beasley last year, everyone underlooked him. He's like, he didn't have the best. He only had 5.5 sacks. But, definitely turned it up with 15.5 sacks.
Had more sacks than last year.
Yeah.
Just crazy. Who was the tackle leader?
This was Bobby Wagner. He finished the year with 167 tackles, which is, it's a big deal, but I feel like tackles aren't really a big stat, so it doesn't really matter.
So it's like, whatever. Alright, so on to offensive leaders. Passing yard king has been crowned. It is Brees with 5,208 yards. Drew Brees himself has more 5,000 yard seasons than the rest of NFL quarterbacks do, which is an amazing stat considering Tom Brady's there and Rodgers is there, Peyton Manning, just a ridiculous
Tom
stat.
Brady's never hit 5,000.
Yeah, yes, he had one 5,000 yard season. And so Matt Ryan came in second with 4,944, which was pretty close. And he out. Okay, hold up. I think that it's good for Matt Ryan that he got 4,944. He was super close to the 5,000 yard mark, but it's rough that he couldn't get there. And for rushing yards, which is pretty surprising. Well, I mean, it's not surprising if you watch any games, but Ezekiel Elliott got 1,631, so 1,631 yards. He was 177 yards off of the rookie rushing record. In second came Jordan Howard with 1,313.
And another thing to add is that that's the first time since 1970 that two rookies led the NFL in rushing. So it's good for rookie running backs this year.
Yeah. And for receiving yards, we have number 1 T.Y. Hilton, 1,448, and number 2 Julio Jones at 1,409. That's a bit disappointing to me. I know he didn't play a few games, but that's good that he's still up there. After he didn't play a few games, but I still think it's pretty disappointing after having a 300-yard game and you're not first. It's off by 40, right? But whatever. That's all for the main NFL statistics, obviously.
But one thing, Aaron Rodgers, for the first time in his career, he did lead the NFL in passing touchdowns with 40. So that's a good accomplishment for him. Yeah.
Also, Garrett Blount led in rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, with 20.
That's pretty good. So I mean, yeah, there's nothing really else to talk about scoring statistics. So, I'd like to talk about
the NFL awards. So now that the NFL season is done, basically all the awards are set into place, and nothing that happened in the playoffs can dictate what happens. So, all right. So let's start off with leave the best for last. So I want to see who's your coach of the year.
Jack Del Rio.
All right. I'm gonna go against them because I don't want to be biased or something. I'm gonna say Jason Garrett, and the reason why I'm saying Jason Garrett is that he flipped the Cowboys around from 4-12 to 13-3, and he's managed to coach a rookie quarterback to a 13-3 record. So that's why I'm saying Jason Garrett.
I'm saying Jack Del Rio because they're 12-4. They were 7-9 last year. I mean, it's not that bad. Obviously, it's bad, but he turned like a mediocre team into a really, really, really good team, and now unfortunately they're gonna lose because of their guy, their quarterback getting hurt. I feel like they're a really good team. Khalil Mack is a monster, and I just feel like he helped coach the entire team to be what they are now at 12-4. But obviously it's going to be close between Jason Garrett, Bill Belichick, and Jack Del Rio because they have the 3 best records, right? So obviously it's going to be a mixture. Everybody has their own argument. Did you want to go to which one do you want to do?
Defensive player of the year.
Want to do defensive? You take it first.
All right. So my defensive player of the year I'm gonna say Khalil Mack. And I'm saying Khalil Mack just because he didn't lead the NFL in sacks, but in terms of he had 11 sacks and he forced 5 fumbles, and 3 of those fumbles were in the last 12 minutes of the fourth quarter. So he helped the Raiders. He helped lead them to a 12-4 record. He really helped on the defensive front. They struggled in terms of secondary, but when it came to the defensive line, he helped get the sacks and he helped ice the game, getting the game back into the offensive hands so they could kill off the game.
Yeah,
that's why
that's my guy as well. He was just such a help. Like he was a missing puzzle piece. I feel like. I mean, they've always had him, but he turned it up and he's a fear. Always be scared of Mac. It doesn't matter who you play. He's definitely a beast and one of the best for sure. All right, so let's go on to offensive player of the year. Who do you think?
All right, so my offensive player of the year, I'm gonna give it to Le'Veon Bell, and the reason why I'm saying Le'Veon Bell is that Le'Veon Bell finished fifth this year in rushing yards with 1,268. He also had 616 receiving yards, which was a total of about 2,800, 2,100 yards from scrimmage. But an interesting fact is that first of all, he only played 12 games and managed to put up those stats. He finished the year with 9 touchdowns. And when you divide that by how much games he played, he averaged 157 yards from scrimmage, which was the most by far. I think the second player was David Johnson with 127 yards.
To be fair, though, I mean, that 300 yards from scrimmage game did help a lot in that average. Help a lot. But anyways, I like that pick, but I disagree. I feel like David Johnson is definitely the better one because he did, in fact, have 16 rushing touchdowns and 4 receiving touchdowns, which equals 20. He also had 1,239 rushing yards and 879 receiving yards. So he was about 150 something yards away from being the first player ever to get 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving. And that's why I feel like he definitely, I mean, he did play the full 16 games, but I definitely feel like is the better all around. He was more of a help for his team. Yeah, so defensive rookie of the year. I'm gonna go ahead and pick. I did this before too. This is my guy, Joey Bosa. He did not lead league in sacks or anything. He only had 5 sacks. No, sorry, he had 10.5 sacks. So he didn't lead it, but that's really good. That's the most sacks by a rookie. This year anyways, and he did really good. He was a good help for their team. He put a lot of pressure. I mean, the San Diego Chargers unfortunately are bad. Sucks that he had to go on a bad team, but he's actually very, very, very good, and there's a bright future for him. Especially if they get more people on that D line to fit up a bit. I think Chargers defense will be a fear.
And I'm leaning the same reason that he said. I also think Joey Bosa is defensive rookie of the year.
He also has 1 forced fumble. I forgot to mention that. So not too bad for a defensive rookie. Now let's talk about rookie of the year. I don't know. Who do you have?
My rookie of the year, and I've leaned with him for the majority of the season, is Dak Prescott.
Ooh, okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna put my argument first of all. I feel like everyone, okay, who's yours? Your guys, Ezekiel Elliott?
Yeah, we did this last time.
The reason why I'm saying Dak Prescott is just that Dak Prescott, in terms of, alright, if you take Dak Prescott out of this team, where would they be? They don't have,
Tony Romo.
Zeke Elliott.
Oh, they'll probably do better.
Yeah, because Zeke, remember that Tony Romo wasn't healthy until about week 9.
I know.
So that means 8 games they would have to play with Mark Sanchez. Most likely, would they really have gone 7-1? Probably not. And the reason why I'm saying if you take him out, and I feel like in a way, rookie offense player, basically, who's the most valuable rookie? You take him out the situation, can they perform? No.
Take Zeke out. You take Zeke out.
You take Zeke out. You put in Darren McFadden. Anyone can have success behind the Cowboys' offensive line.
That's the argument. I mean,
Darren McFadden did 1,000 last season.
This guy did 1,631 with 15 touchdowns. And
but Darren McFadden only started 10 games.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that anyone can. If you take Zeke out, you put in any running back, they can survive. It's not a big. He's a big help, with 1,600 yards and 15 plus touchdowns.
Crediting him a lot.
I'm not.
Worked for it. He has 15 touchdowns. He has 1,631 yards, and I think that is amazing. If you take him out, the team.
Yeah. If you look at what Dak Prescott did this season, most wins by a rookie. He had the highest quarterback.
Tied for most by a rookie.
Yeah, tied for most, but it's
Ben.
still he owns a record.
Why? How does that work?
He has the most he has the highest complete rookie completion pass completion with 62.5%. He had the highest QBR by a rookie quarterback with 104.8 or 2. He also had the best passing touchdown to interception ratio by a rookie quarterback.
Okay. That's very good, obviously. But you're discrediting Zeke. Like, I mean, he can't. There's only one stat he has. There's rushing and touchdowns. There's two stats, right?
Yeah,
It's just, come on. It's, no Zeke, it would not be the same.
they
I,
would.
no, not at all. Not
Yeah, because
at all.
anybody can function. Everybody has. I mean,
You say
they've
that, but
had
they don't
three
have the
different running
same
backs.
chemistry. You
They've
don't
had three
have
different running backs in 3 different years, and all of them have gone 1,000+ yards. It's not that hard to run
a
behind a
thousand
good offensive
yards
line.
is not
A
great, but
1,000 yards
for a
is
rookie,
a
has
good.
every rookie gotten 1,631 yards, 100 plus yards away from breaking the rookie record? I think that's something to give to. You can't
Yeah, it's
discredit it
something to give to
completely.
him. But when you have you didn't break the record. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott broke 4 phenomenal quarterback records. And if you look at it, they never had a question in their question position was never running back. Everyone knew that anyone can function. Their
But they didn't
questionable
function as good.
position,
Didn't function
they didn't
as
function
good.
as good because they had Tony
Ezekiel,
Romo playing.
yeah. What does that mean? Tony Romo is good. He's way better than Dak.
Tony Romo didn't play good last season.
Yeah, because he was too busy getting hurt.
He still played the first
I know.
7 games.
First, I thought it was six, but yeah, his O line wasn't as good, man. You know, it was
What? It's the
different.
same O line from last
No,
season.
they had like a few.
Nope, the
Are
same
you
O line
sure?
from last season,
You
exact
sure?
same O line,
I don't know.
and the same O line that helped DeMarco Murray win the rushing championship in 2013 or 2014.
I still think Zeke is better because he had a good O line, right? And then he got better with the O line. I just feel like they're both really good and they're both on an amazing team. I think they're both rookie of the year. They can't be, so I'd definitely pick Zeke because I feel like he's a better asset. And I feel like unfortunately he's on the Dallas Cowboy team, so it's the argument's kind of neglected. But I feel like if you put him on, for instance, the Patriots or because their O line's eh. If you put them on a bunch of other teams, they would still function. I feel like he would still do as many yards as he has now. I feel like it doesn't matter what team you put him on, he will have the same amount of yards. That's what I feel. That's why I pick him as my rookie of the year.
All right,
So, who's your MVP?
my MVP, hands down, Aaron Rodgers. The reason why I have Aaron Rodgers, I mean, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the best QBR, but this season he does have the best touchdown to interception ratio, which is 5.7, which is unheard of. First of all, second of all, he managed to he said in week 10 or no week 11 he said, "Yeah, guys, we're gonna run this table." No other
Yeah,
quarterback.
he won every single one straight.
Exactly. He showed that he has the confidence. He had, the veteran. I don't know what the word is, but veteranism. I'm gonna make it that word to lead his team to a playoff berth. First of all, win their division when they were third seed. They were not third seed. They were ranked third in their division when he said this. Now they're first, and now and that's what I mean. He's just been so good. I mean, most likely you're gonna argue Matt Ryan. Yes. I mean, yeah, Matt Ryan, he did also have a good season, so you can talk about Matt Ryan.
I definitely will talk about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was second for the passing yards. He also had the highest QB ratio, whatever, at 117.1. And he even got sacked 37 times, which is rough. And he has threw for 38 touchdowns, two less than Aaron Rodgers, who set the record. And I think he's really good. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he only started to get into a click, halfway through the season. And in order to be MVP, you have to do it the entire season. I know if you took out Aaron Rodgers, the team would be useless. And I know that, and everybody knows that. But Matt Ryan has also been a contributing factor to the Falcons. He helped get Julio Jones 300 yards He himself got 500 yards in a game throwing, which is ridiculous, unheard of almost. He only has 7 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers also has 7, but I just think it's crazy. They're both very high tier quarterbacks, and everybody knows that. They're very, very, very good. But it's obviously the same argument as before, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, so I definitely think they're both in contention for MVP. Um, if I had to pick a running back who could be MVP, it's probably not going to be a running back, but I'd still pick David Johnson if I could. Um, all right, so let's do First Scooper,
All right.
our new segment.
So my scooper of the week, and both my pooper and scooper are from the same. They played in the same game, and my scooper of the week is Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. He had 2 interceptions, both one that helped close out the victory at the end in the fourth quarter, and one, I believe, in the second quarter to help close out the second half. He really helped secure that defense for the Giants against a decent quarterback, Kirk Cousins. So, and my pooper of the week rather, is Kirk Cousins in a game where Washington had to play, and this has happened in previous seasons. Any must-win game, Kirk Cousins has not been able to turn up, and once again it happened. His weakness was shown again. He only managed he managed to throw 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, and especially in a game where his team needed him most,
Where it matters, yeah, you cracked
exactly,
under
he didn't show
pressure.
up. Exactly. So that's why I'm saying he's my pooper.
So for my scooper of the week, we have Rex Burkhead from the Bengals. On average, he had like 40 yards. And then against the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, it didn't really matter because they're already over. He decided to get 119 yards, 2 touchdowns on 27 attempts. I think it's really good for him because you didn't really hear much of him. And then he just comes in and has a monstrous game that helps his team win 27-10. Didn't like I said, the game didn't matter at all, but it was a still good game to watch, and good for him. And my pooper of the week is none other than Mark Sanchez. When he played against the Eagles, they put him in to get some reps. He threw for 85 yards and 2 interceptions, with a 52.9% completion rate. Definitely of the week, in my opinion. Also, a special shout out to the Bills, because they're shit. They're just bad. It was the Jets, right, who kicked it off?
Mm-hmm.
So the Jets, the kickoff, and one of the Bills player, I forget who it was, but he touched it, and somehow the Jets recovered it in the Bills' end zone for a free touchdown off kickoff. So good for the Bills. A little bit of shout out to them for not being very good. That's my honorary pooper of the week. All right, so let's get in. Actually, no, wait. I have one more segment real quick. This week in NFL history, not very many things that happened, but on this week, the legendary coach Don Shula, coach of Miami Dolphins, he steps down as head coach. He is the winningest coach in NFL history with 347 wins, which is ridiculous. Like I said,
And he's also regarded as the greatest coach of all time.
yeah. So I said the legend. Legend. Anyway, so another thing that happened. There's not very many things that happened this week, but um, just a kind of fun fact: Cincinnati defeated San Diego 27-7 in the coldest game in NFL history. The game was -9. The wind chill factor of -59.
In Fahrenheit?
I'm not sure, okay, but I hope it's not in Fahrenheit. It's definitely no, it's definitely I'm sure. There's no way it's -59 Fahrenheit. But wind chill factor of -59, which is freezing cold. This happened in 1982. So let's hop right into A. So, as most probably know by now, my favorite player is James Harden. Um, and he, along with John Wall, they were named Key Players of the Month. So Wall, he led the Eastern Conference in assists, 10.7 per game, and 2.67 steals per game. And he ranked fifth in scoring with 24.5 points per game. And the Wizards went 10-5 in this month, and it's their first 10-win month since December of 2014. Um, Wall, he scored a career high 52 points, even though they lost, but he shot 49.1% from the field and 81% from the free throw line. Whereas Harden, he led the league in assists, 12.0 assists per game, and he ranked fourth in scoring at 28.3 points per game. And the Rockets went 15-2 in this period, and they tied a franchise record for wins in a month, and outscored their opponents by an average of 12.9 points. He also became the first player in NBA history with at least 50 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists in a game, when scored a career 53 points. And he also got a career best 17 assists and a Rockets season high 15 rebounds. And yeah, I just think he's really good and he should be an MVP. I know nobody else thinks that. Actually, no, there's quite a few people who think that. But obviously it's Westbrook or Harden, right? There's always that decision. But I definitely think Harden. I'm a bit biased, obviously. But yeah, so how about those Chicago Bulls?
All right, so I'm going to be talking about in particular their star man Jimmy G Buckets. So the Bulls right now are 18-18. They're eighth in the conference, but that's dangerous for teams like Cleveland because they've beaten Cleveland twice this season, and that means they've beaten, and that also carries from last season where they beat Cleveland. In the past 2 years, they've beaten Cleveland 5 times. They've also beaten Cleveland 3 times at home in regular season. So right now being in eighth place is scary for a team like Cleveland. So right now I think Bulls are in the prime position. I mean, they'd like to be higher up, but in terms of like where they might have the most success, I definitely think 8th seed is not that bad. So time to talk about Jimmy Butler. So in his last 5 games, Jimmy Butler, he's played exceptional. And I think he probably, if he has a good game this week, Saturday, against the Toronto Raptors, I think he can lock down Eastern Conference Player of the Week. He had 2 outstanding games against the. I mean, he had one good game against the Brooklyn Nets. They're not good, but he had 40 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, 4 rebounds, and 4 steals. Amazing game from him. The Chicago Bulls managed to walk away with a victory, which was pretty much going to happen. And then 3 nights ago against the Charlotte Bobcats, he put up a 52-point game, which is 1 away from his career high. He had 12 assists, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals. And another thing to note is that he had 17 points in the fourth quarter, and he shot 21 from 22 at the free throw line. He also shot 62.5%, like in total, like his field goal. And the 52 points that he scored was 1 point away from his career high. And he had notable two other notable games, but last night the Bulls went to Cleveland and they managed to knock them off. Jimmy Butler scored 20 points. He had 6 assists and 8 rebounds. About 14 of those points came in the fourth quarter, and they really needed it because, heading into halftime, they were down by a lot, and they managed to turn around the third and fourth quarter and managed to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers by a good margin. So the Bulls went 3-2 in these last 5 games, and in the 52-point game, Jimmy Butler joined Michael Jordan, so that's pretty elite company, as the only other Bull player to have multiple 50-point games. Another thing to note about the AFC, the All-Star game is coming up in about a month. So 2 Bulls players have been nominated. So Dwayne Wade was first in votes in shooting guards in the Eastern Conference with about 278,000. And Butler was 4th in small forwards with 189,000. So the Bulls will have representatives at this year's All-Star game.
Right, so just real quick, since you talked about All-Star voting, the All-Star game is coming up. It is February 19th. It's gonna be in New Orleans, I believe. Yep. So basically, the All-Star voting, came out. Just a preview. Obviously, it's not done yet, but for what they have so far, um, they have LeBron James with almost 600,000 votes, Kevin Durant with 541,000, Stephen Curry at 523, Kyrie Irving at 543, and James Harden at 519. Obviously, these are thousands. Um, just a fun fact while looking at this, there are 6 Golden State members who are going to be going to the All-Star game if it keeps up. More interesting, Zaza Pachulia, he came in second in the front court. 439,000 votes. That's ridiculous. 6 Golden State members are going to the All-Star game if this keeps up. James Harden did make it, and so did Eric Gordon. And 2 Toronto Raptors players, like usual, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. And yeah, I mean, it's mainly expected. I did not see 6 members from Golden State making it, though. I don't know about you, but I didn't see that. Also, they also just released the new uniforms, and I know we can't show you them. They look so bad. They look so boring. What do you think? Do you like them?
Not at all. They're awful compared to the last couple years. They're disgusting.
Like, I'm looking at them right now, and they are just one color. Like, I mean, like I know the other one was like, red and blue, whatever, right? But it's just bad. It's just so bland and not colorful and just boring. And I feel like we need to fire the people and give it to something. Not very. They're very bad.
Before we move on, how much, we have to represent our home team. So how much
2.
All-Stars made it from the rack? 2? Lowry
2,
and
yeah.
DeRozan?
Like usual.
Not bad. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of bad. He only got 128,000 votes, Lowry, and DeRozan got 253. I mean, so it's alright. John Wall actually only got 87,000. And a surprise, I don't know if you figured
Is
this.
he going?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And do you know that Jeremy Lin also voted? 59,000?
Jeez. Was Kemba Walker?
Yeah.
Okay. At least Kemba
52,000.
Walker. Wow.
Kemba Walker went off. Yeah, but I don't know. This is not really popularity contest, of course, right? That's why Zaza's number 2.
No, but they changed it this year.
Oh, did they?
50% is players and like teams and stuff like that, and then other 50% is fan vote. So this year they did change it because last year you had people like Kobe Bryant who had 1 million votes because he made it, but he did really have the season to make it. Not
No,
really.
he didn't. Okay,
Exactly.
that makes sense.
So they changed the format up this year.
1 million votes? Holy
I think
shit.
it's boring, just because if someone's retiring, if it's a legacy player. For example, if LeBron James starts falling off in his last season, but
I guarantee they'll keep him in.
of course everyone wants to see LeBron in his last
I will
All-Star
see
game.
LeBron for sure.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna end this off like this NBA section with power rankings. So Cavaliers are number 1. They are 26-8. Golden State Warriors are number 2 because they're 31-5. Rockets are 3. Number 3, they went down 2 positions. They had the best record in December, 15-2. James Harden is a monster. Number 4 are the Spurs at 28-7, and the Raptors are number 5 at 23-11. And all the way down, the worst team are the Lakers at 13-25. Like not record-wise, but power rankings-wise. Then it goes the Suns. Then it goes the Heat, and then the Nets and the Sixers. So those are your 5 worst teams and your 5 best teams. Yeah, we're halfway through the season, so it's starting to get interesting, and hopefully it goes well. All right, so talk about soccer.
Alright, so like always, we're going to start off with the Premier League. So, big matchup like yesterday. Chelsea, the league leaders, on a 13-game win streak against Tottenham Hotspurs. So, in recent years, the last 3 matchups at White Hart Lane, that is the home stadium of Tottenham, Chelsea has lost twice and has had 1 draw. So, they hadn't had much success. And unfortunately for me and all other Chelsea fans, the streak ended at 13, tying Arsenal's record. They lost 2-0. It was 2 goals by Dele Alli, which is a young English center attacking midfielder for Tottenham. It was definitely heartbreaking, and it kind of, but heading into this game, we were projected, if we won the game, we would have an 8-point lead. Now we're down to 5. It's still a good lead, but I mean, now a lot of other teams have been thrown to the title race, so it's really back up and, it's making it more fun, but for the same time, for Chelsea fans, we don't want it to be fun. We just want to go and win with just cruise away with the victory. So summer signing. So Manchester City purchased a Brazilian youngster by the name of Gabriel Jesus. He was not allowed to come in August, so during the summer transfer window, for some reason with the transfer window and Man City in Brazil. But he did arrive this morning in Manchester, England, this morning. The summer signing's there, and he looks like he will be unveiled. I don't think he's going to be unveiled for this weekend's matchup, but I do believe he's going to be unveiled pretty soon. And the manager already said he's going to fit perfectly into the scheme. So next weekend, on January the 15th, we're going to have Manchester United versus Liverpool. Manchester United has won their last 6 games and are really pushing up the table. Liverpool are currently second place in the Premier League, 5 points behind league leaders Chelsea. This is a big game for both clubs. Manchester need this victory, first of all, to extend their winning streak, get their players in form, and so they can push up the table and really show their worth. But Liverpool also need this win so they can stay pace with league leaders Chelsea. So, now that we're in January, we're in the summer transfer window, and the only big deal this season, other than Chelsea selling Oscar for 65 million euros, Leicester City signed a new midfielder, Wilfred Ndidi, for 15 million euros from Genk. They need him. Right now they're playing awful. I think they're 4 points above relegation, coming off a championship season. So they really need someone to share the midfield.
So basically the Panthers of soccer.
In a way, exactly. They had a fairy tale season. Now they're playing like they should be playing.
Yeah.
All right. So other news around Europe. Real Madrid managed to extend their undefeated streak to 38 games. With so exactly. So
That's
it's unbelievable.
Holy shit.
So that means that they had, if you calculate how much losses, wins, and draws each team had over 2016, Real Madrid was by far in front. They only lost, as I mentioned last episode, they only lost 2 games all 2016, and now they're heading into 2017 with a 38-game undefeated streak. So who knows? What if they get at the 50, or what if they finish 2017?
Yo, it's almost unfair.
In a way, exactly.
Anyways.
So another big thing. So in their matchup against Sevilla, who they got the 38th undefeated streak continuing over with, James Rodriguez managed to score an absolutely stunning goal, and now he just admitted saying he wants to stay in Real Madrid and he wants to work out the problems with his manager, which I believe is ridiculous because you can't just score 1 goal and I'm back in form, whatever. And this does hurt Chelsea and other Premier League teams who are trying to sign him. So, it's a big hit. So if we move on, let's talk about another thing. We're going to talk about the Chinese League. Chinese Super League has bid for another 2 big superstars in Europe. Last week they bid 300 million euros for
That's
Cristiano Ronaldo.
That should not be possible.
And guess what? They were going to pay him 100 million euros a year. That's ridiculous.
That's stupid. Didn't they do some other guy?
He was gonna get paid more than what Manchester United paid for Pogba in 1 year, basically.
Crazy.
That's just crazy. And the other big name was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the star striker for Borussia Dortmund. Chinese Super League team offered 150 million euros, and he would be paid 875,000 euros per week.
Per week?
Per week. It's
Holy shit.
Crazy.
Right, so I have a question after that. So my question is, do you believe that rich Chinese soccer clubs think they're ruining football by trying to buy good soccer talents, or do you think they're just trying to promote their league, or do you think they're legitimately interested? 300 million.
I think it's a mix, and I believe buying players who are like Messi and Ronaldo and Aubameyang, who are at the top tier of their respective clubs and their of like footballing in Europe. I believe it's not fair. I mean, thank
It's
God that
obviously
Ronaldo.
fair. I mean, if you pay the money, I think it's fair. But I just think it's a publicity stunt,
It's
personally.
But I mean, I don't think it's fair to the players. I mean, look, it's either players. Two things you play for in all sports, I believe. You play for the love of the game. You play for the love of the money. And in all other sports, and I feel like soccer is kind of soccer and football. I'm not gonna lie, are kind of the others like the last couple sports that players are actually playing for the passion of the game. And I feel like these soccer teams, what they're doing is like, yeah, they're taking players who are not playing the best, and they're like, yeah, hey, why don't you come down to our league? We pay you all this money, and you're gonna go play against morons who don't know how to play soccer.
So then you feel
So
good
it's
about
like
yourself.
exactly. So it's like
I mean, you're
you're gonna
still
get
playing
them.
the game though, and you're getting
Yeah,
money. It's the best of both worlds. Like if I was Ronaldo, I would
mhm.
definitely take it. Like
I wouldn't take it at
I'll
all.
tell
I mean,
you why.
it would ruin his illustrious career. I mean, the
You have
greatest.
$300 million. So
But
so I
like
mean,
it's. I mean, I know understand money money is a lot, but he's getting paid a lot right now at Real Madrid. But I'm saying if he were to go to the Chinese soccer club, everyone know he did it for the money, and it would ruin his legacy as a great. And I feel like that would really tamper with him. If you were to battle him and Messi, if you were to leave Real Madrid and go to Chinese Super League, it would really ruin his legacy and really make
that's
Messi
fair.
a
Like I
better
agree, it would
player.
definitely ruin
Yeah.
his legacy. But
So,
um,
and back to your question, I believe it's a mixture of both. I believe Asian soccer once used to be a good thing and it kind of fell off, but now they're coming back up, buying all these good players. In fact, they're trying to give their league more
yeah,
publicity
for sure.
and
Like,
they're trying to
hey,
promote
nobody
it.
knows about us. We fell off the map.
Exactly.
Let me
And I
let me
think
do an
it's smart.
outrageous bid.
Like I think it's smart to buy players who are out of form, get them back in form, like how the MLS does it, and buy like old players who are declining. But I don't believe it's fair to buy young players. For example,
And
Oscar for 65 million. He's only 24, and another Brazilian player called Alex Teixeira. He was sold last year, January. He was 65 million euros as well. I think it ruins their career. They're young. They don't get the opportunity to play with big players against big defenders. They're gonna go play in the Chinese league, and I feel like it's just gonna make their ratings decline because they're gonna think they're like Messi's and Ronaldo's of China. They're gonna come back
they're
to
gonna
you and
come
they're gonna be
back,
like,
want a
"What's
lot of
going on?"
money, and they're just gonna be shit.
Exactly.
For
So I
their
feel like
pros, right?
it's good for Chinese soccer league, but at the same time, it's ruining European football, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's mixed both worlds. All right,
So
so that is all. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. We hope you enjoyed rather. And next week it's gonna be interesting. Stay tuned for that for sure. I'm not gonna tell you what happens because that'll definitely spoil it. But future's looking bright. And shout out to Olajide Musa. I love you. But yeah, let's keep it real. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, you know, tell your friends. You know the deal. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.
goodbye.